I get a lot of clients moving from out of state, and they come to me and say, Caitlin, what is the difference between living in Tampa versus St. Petersburg? I had to go through the same decision-making process myself. What is it really like to live in St. Petersburg, and what is it really like to live in Tampa, Florida? Before we hop into everything, my name is Caitlin Nelson. I'm a licensed real estate agent with St. Petersburg Living, servicing St. Petersburg and all of Greater Tampa Bay. My number and everything is linked down below in the description. If you are looking to buy in the area, sell a house in the area, invest, or you just have a community need, make sure to give me a call, a text message, or book that one-on-one personalized calendar link. Today, I'm going to discuss a lot of variables that go into Tampa versus St. Petersburg. These variables are going to help you understand what it's like to live in each city and what those key differences are to see where you might be best suited. Let's start with some key statistics. So Tampa is the third largest growing city in Florida. Tampa is just under 400,000 residents, where St. Pete is a little bit smaller with around 260,000 residents, being ranked the fifth most populated city in Florida. In recent years, both of these cities have seen an influx in younger residents moving to the area. The average age in Tampa is 35 years of age, where the average age in St. Petersburg is 43 years of age. A lot of the younger generations are moving to these prime areas because these areas are being developed to really cater for them as well and become a town that's worth their while and a place that they want to start a family or start their career in. Another note is that the two places are very close, however, they can feel a lot different. Tampa, for instance, yes, it does have that bayside that's right there on the water and feels super coastal-like. However, Tampa's a lot bigger than a lot of people make it out to be. If you look at Tampa on the maps, you see those fine lines, whereas Tampa actually is larger than that. It's the Greater Tampa Area that really expands out to the Riverview, to Wesley Chapel, and so forth. That is more suburban. You're not so close to the water at that point. However, those communities are great for so many people and for so many different reasons. You have to note that Tampa isn't just right on the beach, whereas St. Petersburg is going to have more of that coastal feel. You drive over the bridge and you're in St. Petersburg. All of the city is surrounded by the Gulf and the Bayside. Within this city, it's going to feel more coastal-like. It's easier access to the water. The community is smaller. And while it feels smaller, it still has a good population. It really isn't that small. Now, the average household income, both in Tampa and St. Petersburg, tends to run about the same, at about $70,000 per household. With that, you're going to see that the cost of living isn't too much different in either of those places as well. However, one big key difference that does exist is the home market. The home market is a bit different in Tampa versus in St. Petersburg due to the supply and demand in both places. As of today, Tampa had 1,900 listings with an average square feet of 1,900s, usually being a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom, with a wide range of prices, ranging all the way from the $100,000s up to the $21 million price point. Now, take this compared to the average price of home sales in Tampa last year. That came in at about $423,000. When comparing this to St. Petersburg, you're going to see some key differences. St. Pete right now has 1,600 active listings, coming in at about 1,500 square feet per house, usually being a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, and the prices range as well, anywhere from $35,000 up to $13 million. Last year, looking at the average of St. Petersburg's home sales, that came in at about $483,000. With that, we can see a couple key differences. One, Tampa, you're getting more square footage for a lesser price. In St. Petersburg, you're getting less square footage for a higher price. Of course, this is going to vary significantly depending upon the supply and demand of the current market, the location of the house, and a lot of other factors. More times than not, you're going to notice that the houses in St. Petersburg are a smaller space for a price that's the same or more than something you're going to get in Tampa. While this isn't always the case, this is something to take into consideration if space is really important to you. Do you have a bigger family and that space is not a question? Then exploring some options in Tampa might be better. Next, it's important to understand the type of homes you're going to be getting in Tampa versus in St. Petersburg. This is one of my favorite reasons why I live in St. Petersburg. I personally love the quaintness of the homes over here and the historic history behind a lot of our homes. In Tampa, you have a lot of historic homes as well. And there's a lot of history behind both cities that is one of the top reasons why I would probably live in either of them. While a lot of them have similarities, there are a couple key differences. And one of those key differences are new construction. Tampa has a lot of new construction. Between the Greater Tampa Bay metropolitan area and St. Petersburg, there's over 219 new construction communities. Tampa takes up majority of those, and that's for a pretty big reason. Tampa has the land to be developed. St. Pete only has so much land. So while we do still have new construction and new developments or teardowns and rebuilds, we don't have those big new construction neighborhoods that are a bunch of phases and massive, whereas Tampa has that. Some of the big builders are in Tampa, like Lennar, Plute Homes, D.R. Horton, David Weekley, M.I. Homes, so many different ones. Whereas in St. Petersburg, we see more of custom home builders or potentially smaller home builders. A good takeaway from this is that if you are on a lower budget, you might be able to find a new construction community for a really good price. I mean, they range all the way as low as the 250s in some of the suburbs of Tampa up to the millions. With that variety, you have more options. St. Petersburg doesn't have that option. Chances are you're not going to find ones in the 250s, and you might be able to find a couple properties, but they may be in areas that are less developed or underdeveloped. And you may want to instead look into Tampa, into those new construction builds, into a town that's just being developed. So you're getting in at a little bit better of a price, but it has a lot of room to appreciate. Lifestyle is another really big component when comparing St. Petersburg and Tampa. The two have a lot in common, but at the same time have a lot of differences. And this is how I found myself in St. Petersburg. Tampa is a lot more hustle and bustle of a city. Their downtown scene, it has a lot more nightlife, and it has that vibrant and luxury feel to it. You can find a lot of these spots in the Channelside area, on Water Street, and on Riverview. A lot of that nightclub life in Ybor City and Soho. Now, comparing this to St. Petersburg, you're going to find a lot of our nicer fine dining restaurants on Beach Drive or Central Avenue, along with our nightlife typically being on Central Avenue. The difference is this is all closer. You can walk to those same streets, whereas Tampa, some of the things are more spread out. While you can have definitely a lot of fun in one area, chances are you're going to have to take more Ubers on a night out on the town. I believe downtown St. Petersburg still has the hustle and bustle of great restaurants and great bars, but it's more low-key. It's on the bay side. So it feels like a more coastal town, and it comes off more casual. I would say most people feel like they don't really need to dress up to go anywhere, but at the same time, you could dress up if you wanted to. Whereas when I go to Tampa, I'm usually putting on my nicer outfit and probably spending more money on a date night out. Some key differences in the city is that Tampa has way more shopping than downtown St. Petersburg. That's something I can't deny, and that's something I wish St. Pete had a little more of. In Tampa, you have a couple really nice areas. You have that Tampa International Mall. You have Hyde Park area with nice luxury stores, and you have the West Shore area as well. What's really great about West Shore and Hyde Park is that there's also great restaurants and bars in there. So you have that more commercial scene that St. Petersburg really doesn't have. Most people plan to move to Tampa or St. Petersburg with one big commonality in mind, and that is the fact that they want to be close to the beach. Most people move here to enjoy the beautiful beaches that we have. A lot of people think that Tampa is very, very close to the beach, and where it may be if you're in more South Tampa over by the Bayside, but you could also be further out in the suburbs, and a drive over to the beach could take you an hour. Whereas in St. Petersburg, you're going to live anywhere, and the furthest you're going to be from the beach is likely 30 minutes. I personally live more of the North St. Petersburg, and my drive ranges from 25 to 30 minutes. Whereas I have some friends over in the Tampa area, and for them, it's 25 minutes here and then an additional 25 minutes to the beach. So that's a big factor to take into consideration if the beach is really something that's that important to you. Now, Tampa and St. Petersburg both have a strong sports scene, and I would have to say that this is pretty much one and the same, as St. Pete and Tampa typically root for the same teams. Tampa has the Buccaneers and the Lightning, and St. Petersburg is home to the Tampa Bay Rays. What I would also take into consideration are your career opportunities within each big city. Luckily, Tampa and St. Petersburg have been growing immensely in their industries and our career offerings. Tampa Bay is home to over 19 corporate headquarters. In these recent years, they have become one of the country's hottest markets for corporate expansion and relocation. With that has become an immense amount of career opportunities. What's crazy to know is that both Tampa and St. Petersburg's unemployment rate is below the national average. In today's economy, that speaks volumes for what that means about each city. With so many different companies relocating to these cities and industries growing here, that holds a lot of career opportunity. Those that have been in the industry a while, that might be looking for an executive level job, or those that are brand new and getting into the industry, and those young professionals that have these big companies to go to and get their foot off strong in a new place. Financial and professional services has been St. Petersburg's #1 industry and Tampa's fastest growing industry. That's easy to tell when you see that we have those big name companies like Raymond James, JP Morgan Chase, MetLife, Citigroup, and so many more. Both cities are also known for their manufacturing and distribution industries. St. Petersburg being home to Jobble, which is in North St. Pete, and Tampa Bay being home to the Fortune 500 Mosaic. The other really big industry we have here is life sciences and healthcare. We have some major hospitals in St. Petersburg and in Tampa. In St. Petersburg, we have Bayfront and Johns Hopkins, and in Tampa, there's Tampa General. Between these three hospitals, they house so many job opportunities on the administrative side, as well as nurses, doctors, and so forth. One big industry Tampa has as well is their security and defense. Tampa is one of the largest veteran workforces in the country as well, being home to the MacDill Air Force and all sorts of security and defense industries. St. Pete has their own niche as well, and that is for creative arts and design. This is a big part of the reason that keeps St. Pete who they are and keeps the town vibrant, attracting tourists all year long to see some of the beautiful arts within St. Petersburg. The economy in both Tampa and St. Petersburg really boasts a lot of opportunity, as there's a big range of employment across all sorts of leading industries. You'll see that both Tampa and St. Petersburg are home to some really great schools. Of course, wherever you live, there's going to be some not so great schools. And that's why I recommend really researching the neighborhoods you want to live in. You can get on the local county website. So for St. Petersburg, like the Pinellas County School Board, or for Tampa, the Hillsborough County School Board. And you can research those school zones to see what neighborhoods are affiliated with each school and do your own specific research on that school. Now, this is only going to be important to you if you have kids that are going to school. So again, this is very subjective, but this could be a big difference between St. Petersburg and Tampa as well. They both have good schools. You really can't compare Tampa to St. Pete. You're going to have to be more fine-lined and detailed and compare different school zones to different school zones. There's great ones in St. Pete and there's not so great ones in St. Pete, and it's the same for Tampa. We have excellent ones in Tampa and not so great ones in Tampa. From personal experience, I know a lot of families moving to the area like to live in St. Petersburg around Shore Acres. That's because Shore Acres Elementary and Northeast High School are both top-rated schools in the area, and the parents want to make sure they're living within those neighborhood lines to send those kids to that school. I do want to bring up the fact that there are private schools, and there are some really good ones in the area as well. Now, comparing this back to Tampa, families there do the same thing. There's this one private school in particular that I found a lot of families really enjoy. It's called the Berkshire Preparatory School. It's an A-rated, top-notch school in the area, and families want to make sure that they live within close proximity to make it a realistic school for their kids to attend to. A lot of those families will live in South Tampa, in like the town and country area or surrounding areas. If school zones are something that is important to your family, I would really recommend taking time to potentially go do school visits at that school and exploring the neighboring areas while you're there doing that. From there, you can make the decision a little bit easier on if Tampa might be a better spot for you because they have the neighborhood you want by the school zone you want, or if St. Petersburg might be the better option for you because they have the neighborhood that you really like next to the school that's a great fit for you. Hopefully you notice that both Tampa and St. Petersburg could be a great spot to call your home. If you're deciding between the two of those, I would love to make your decision easier. Everything is in the description below to book an appointment with me. I'm available for a quick phone call. You can text me to get started or schedule that calendar one-on-one personalized meeting. Together, we can discuss communities, more specific questions you may have, careers, school zones, and really anything that comes top of mind. My name is Caitlin Nelson. I'm with St. Petersburg Living, and we service St. Petersburg and all of Tampa Bay.